Good blessed Monday night, January the 31st, 2021. It's about 6:12 p.m. I greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. I greet all of you all with that same universal greetings. I'm out here tonight because I took a little time off on investigating my son's death. Brian Lamont Johns, those that don't know, he was found hung in Carbondale, Illinois on Friday, March the 19th, 2021. On the 3rd floor in the Gaslight apartments in the hallway. But I'm finna read something. Those of y'all that's caught up, I'm finna read something from the lead detective report. And I want y'all to listen to this real good now. You remember those that remember I was talking about rigor mortis. When it set in, or when your muscles relax, if you done hung yourself, especially when you hanging down from the 3rd floor, when you done hung yourself, your muscles is gonna relax, and anything in your hand, normally you're gonna drop it. But I want you to listen to this here that I'm finna read right quick from this police report. This is from one of the detectives' reports now. I'm just gonna read part of it. Now, the detective say this here. He said the cloth belt that he talking about that my son allegedly hung himself with, the cloth belt, let me see. The cloth belt had a double D-ring buckle. This is not a D-ring, but this is a double buckle. This was the type of material that my son allegedly hung himself with. But the D-rings is like these here, but they shaped like D's. You see what I'm saying? And these is how you put your belt on. But okay, the cloth belt had a double D-ring buckle that had been looped through the belt prior to the knot being tied and anchored in the top, on the top railing, where I'm gonna demonstrate in a minute. The ligature was tight around my son's upper neck with the D-rings just below and slight behind the lobe of his left ear. Based on the totality of the evidence, the scene and discovery of my son's body was consistent with my son having lowered himself down until he became unconscious and ultimately suffocated. The positioning and state of my son's body at the time of his death would only seem consistent with my son hanging himself. Now I want y'all to keep in mind what they said. On some of my YouTubes I illustrated. Now they told me it was a belt that was a size 32. It was this type of material now. Pay close attention. You don't have to be a scientist, but like I said, it was D-rings. D-rings is this metal like this, but they shaped like D's. And this was a little longer than that, but I cut it because originally they told me it was a 32 that he hung himself with. Can you get close enough on that, boo-boo? Well, 32 inches. That's about 32 inches there. But then they told me, they didn't tell me a 42 inches, rather. They said they told me 46 inches. All right, let's take a look at this one here. What is that, baby? Is that 4? That's 40. That's about 46 inches. 4 inches longer than this here, which is not gonna make much difference. But I want to show you something. Now, another thing I want to show you. The detective said when my son hung himself, he said prior or right before my son hung himself, he said he looped the belt. Now, I want some of y'all that's scientists to show me how anybody can determine whether he said he looped the belt prior, before, and tied the knot. Then, no, they said he looped the belt first, before, right. He looped the belt before he tied the knot. Now tell me this here. Can you tell me when I actually looped this belt if I was found hung? Can you tell me if I put it in here first before putting it on my neck and then tie it? Or can you tell me can you tell me when I done tied it already and then just took it in through it like this here and then hung myself? But let me show you something now. Pay close attention. This was kind of like the setting where my son was found hung. It had little bars like this here, but they were square. It was in the hallway. Hypothetically speaking, say this is the 3rd floor landing right here, but it was flat. It wasn't down with the handicap thing. It was flat like this here. This was tied up 46 inches now. Can you tell whether I tied this here first? Whether I tied this here first and then made the little loop, or made the little loop first. Now, when they said he tied it up here first, now once he up on there, this is what they claiming now. He got it around his neck. Then they said he lured himself down now. He lured himself down until he went unconscious. You see what I'm saying? And then he died. Once he went unconscious, he suffocated himself. Now, if this was the truth, if he lured himself down, money was found in his hand with blood on it. The coroner had to pry his hand open. Now, if he lured himself down, once he got down, now his body is hanging now. But once he got down and he went unconscious, tell me how scientifically that one of his left hand had a cut all the way across here to the tendons, which blood should have been all the way around that. Mr. Wintertime, he don't have his shirts on because a white female around the corner on the 3rd floor in the apartment building said she found his shirts. But one of his hands, his left hand that's cut, is like this. This arm here, the muscle all the way in there. Now, this here wasn't there, so it's on that landing up like this here when they found it. Now, scientifically, tell me how would he be in this position? Rigor mortis don't set in right away. You see what I'm saying? If you done lured yourself down, even if you tried to get back up, you got money ball in your hand, what you gonna grip with this hand? You can't grip nothing. There was a bicycle right here that was knocked over. The police never took that to the lab. It was 2 plants knocked over. They never took that to the lab. because I got video to show when I came back 2 or 3 times. The bike was still there until I got to making videos. Now, all the whole bikes and stuff are gone. The people moved. But look, how is he luring himself down? And where did this detective get this here theory from? You see, the pathologists that they got out of Vandalia, Illinois, all of them is friends. The good old boys. The Ku Klux Klan got their little Klan party together. How in the world can you tell me when a person put this loop in here? When they tied it, after they tied it, or before they tied it? Ain't no way possible that you could tell. Ain't no way possible you could tell. I showed my daughters and I turned my back and I said, tell me which way did I do this here? Did I put it in this way? Or did I take it and just loop it in? But they said the detective said he did it prior to tying this here up. But again, ask yourself, all my family, friends, and followers, if you have individuals that's going to in these universities that have any connection with CSI personnel, have connections with any pathologists, medical examiners, anybody in criminology, give us a hand, y'all. I know my son didn't commit suicide. How? But the coroner told me, not the coroner, but the pathologist told me it was far-fetched that he was dead already and somebody hung him up there. Ain't no way he can perfectly be like this, y'all. No way perfectly being like this, hanging down. This, if it strangled him and rendered him unconscious, your muscles are relaxed. If my muscles relax, I'm not gonna still have that grip. And then how did the blood get on the money, the paper money? And why wasn't the paper money took by the CSI lady and put in a evidence bag instead of the coroner taking it out of his hand and putting it in the body bag? I believe the Carbondale police have something to do with it, because the state police lab, they came up with 3 characters on them D-rings, meaning more than my son was touching that. They came up with 2 characters on some of these knots. In other words, more than, did somebody help my son? And see, it was people that was living in the building where my son was living at, Indian guys that unmoved, told the police, and it's not even in the police report, told the police that they heard 2 or 3 people arguing in the hallway. My son don't live in the building, don't nobody know him in the building. Somebody murdered him, y'all. Think about this here. Some of these people say I'm crazy. I'm far from crazy. That black guy that just got killed, so all white people invited him someplace and he ended up getting shot. They think he crazy. That black woman that just got killed that was dating this white guy off a line, they think he crazy. They think her family crazy, but they ain't crazy. They hanging and killing black folks. And if you ain't a part of it, don't let it offend you. But my son is dead. He's black. He was homeless. He was on drugs. He been to the pen. And I know they don't care nothing about him in Carbondale. None of them leaders. None of them. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to keep on fighting for my son's justice. And I'm going to keep fighting that you prosecute that white school teacher from the Carbondale Rebound High School that was spending my son's food stamp card 39 days after he was dead. If a black person was doing that, they would have been in jail. They would have been in jail. But take it. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. How can this detective determine whether he put this loop in here before or after, unless he was there, unless some of them, oh, Lord have mercy, help me, Jesus, some of them Ku Klux Klans told him how they hung him. You see, the police was using my son, wiring him up. When somebody think you wind up, what they do, they make you take your shirt off. He didn't have no shirts on in the midst of winter. White female finding his t-shirts around the corner. Now all of a sudden, she been missing for a couple of weeks now in Carbondale in that apartment. You know why? Because I've been setting her out. Because she's a drug addict. She have these drug addicts and drug dealers in the house. And I know she got something to do with it. But I'm going to leave with this here, y'all. Think about this scenario I'm saying. How do this detective know when or when he didn't put this loop in there? How did he know he lured himself down and then he went unconscious? If he went unconscious, that money would have fell out of his hand. If he lured it, how he gonna lower himself down with his hand up in here? This hand is cut to the tendons and it's barely holding on, y'all, like this. The left hand. The right arm is all the way in here. So how in the hell is he luring himself in? I'm going to tell you what Carbondale Police Department is ran by. City Hall is ran by. It's ran by Ku Klux Klans. All you got to do is take the history. The mayor had just been elected the last year or two ago. His wife called the police on him for battery. You ain't gonna even find it in the record. They didn't even arrest him. And he was re-elected. Ain't that something? That go to show you what type of individuals it is. And the individual that runs the group in Carbondale, Illinois, y'all take a look at him real good. White young guy in his 30s. Run the What's the F Carbondale group. Ran for city council, didn't make it. Ran for mayor, didn't make it. And he won't put my son's story back up in this thing. You know why? Because I won't be no sellout house Negroes like the city council. I won't be no house Negroes like the victim advocate and some of them other people in there. I'm going to be what God made me. God made me a man. I don't care who don't like what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? Long as God is satisfied, that's all what counts. But my son didn't hang himself. Science will tell you that. Peace be still.